Still spinning. We are live. Well, thank you for watching. Guys, today's episode is brought to you by Archon Mounts. Do me a favor, go to archon.com. If you need a tripod, mounting solutions for your cell phone, iPads, maybe you're an action dude, you like to jump off cliffs, where they have mounts for your GoPro cameras as well. Maybe you're here on X or Spaces, whatever social media platform you're using, go to archon.com. Maybe you like doing TikToks and doing videos in the middle of the street, dodging traffic. I don't know if that's you, but go to archon.com. At checkout, make sure you put Hawaii as your promo code. You get 20% off your entire order. Today's guest is a tsunami survivor. Very special man indeed. He is a father, grandfather. He was also a bank executive for I don't know how many years, for a while. Gave all that up to live in poverty and become a pastor. So we're going to talk story. And there's been a lot of adversities and a lot of things that he's fought through. And we're going to talk story with him just for a little bit. I'm not sure how long we'll do this. We'll try our best. And I'm just honored to have him. Top secret, he's also my dad, Rudy Lopez. How's it, family? Thank you for being here with us. Man, I'm excited. This is my first time in a long time talking with my dad. So, little top secret. For those of you on X, thank you. And replay viewers as well. We are live on X, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and we'll upload everything on Spotify. I brain farted for about a half a second. So I'm glad to have my dad. He has been through so much. And if you've seen some of the pictures, I'm sure you may have noticed a few things here or there. But definitely one of the things we're going to lead in with today is surviving a tsunami, just because that's our selling point. So I'm going to introduce my dad, and then we'll we'll hang out for a second. You want to say hi, Dad?
Hey, hi, everybody.
Do you, before I forget, I don't talk to my dad about this stuff ever, I don't think.
No.
The one time I talk to my dad about this is when we do these kind of things. Do you remember the house as far as the one by Cafe 100?
Oh, yeah. Actually, pretty much where Cafe 100 is sitting is where the house was. It was, I can almost remember it like it was yesterday, basically. I don't just talk to a lot of people about it because, well, it was traumatic at the time. So I remember, though, when it was pretty much all over, that when we were rescued from the house, the house was lifted up off its foundation and just dropped down onto the electrical supply business right next to us, in front of us. And that electrical business was between us and Kapiolani School, where I went to school then. I was in the, it just was, I think, at the end of the 6th grade. Yeah, it was at the end of the 6th grade. We were pretty much going into the 7th. And 1960, roughly about 1:30 in the morning. I remember the whole house shaking, and I could hear boards creaking and everything. And my dad, I was in the bedroom. My dad came, your grandpa came running into, wading actually in toward the bedroom because the water was already rushing into the house. And he was yelling my name, and I remember screaming. I remember screaming very loudly. And he just, in the dark, just grabbed me from, I guess, the back of my pajamas on my shirt and carried me into the kitchen. And just dropped me on a round table that we had in the kitchen, right in the middle, and the water started rising, and the table started spinning around, and slowly, ever so slowly, the table was rising, and all I seemed to remember was I could feel the string from the light in the kitchen because we used to pull the string to turn on the lights, and so I could feel the string on my head, and I began screaming because I knew it was going up, and my head was almost touching the light bulb, and I knew I was going to drown.
Well, I don't think anybody in this generation knows what that. So
The
if you
string,
don't know
pull
what that
string.
means, the old days they didn't have light switches. Yeah, what they
No,
did,
no,
you had to pull a string to turn on the light in the middle of the room. I
yeah,
remember my grandma had that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I felt that string, and I, you know, you just begin. I don't know. It was just a panic moment, I guess. And just when I thought I felt the light bulb touching my head, I that was about it. But then it stopped, and then the table started turning around again, but seemed like it was in the opposite direction. Like the water was rushing out of the. I could feel this all in the dark. I could hear all kinds of stuff in the dark. Like not just things that go bump in the night. It was real loud, really loud. Water rushing, lumber hitting this and that, and I could swear I heard fishes inside of the house. And I remember your grandpa trying to find a way out in the dark. And you got to realize this now. Grandpa couldn't swim. He was deathly afraid of the water. He did not like to go anywhere near water, but yet he pulled me out of desperation. He pulled me out of the bedroom, put me on the kitchen table, hung on to the kitchen table as it was spinning around. My dad, not, I didn't hear him until after it was, the water went down. And then he said, wait here. And I was telling him, don't go, don't go. But he went I think in the dark, I could kind of sense where the living room was. And he kind of started going there, and he fell into a hole. I think it sounded like he fell into a hole. And he began screaming. For the first time in my life, I heard him scream. And then he managed to pull himself out and grab onto the table again. After that, we just waited until the sun came up. And then we had family and friends break down the door. And I remember when they broke down the door, they came and they took my dad out first, and I was right behind him, holding on to him. And I remember it was so thick with mud. I'm not sure if my pants came off in the mud because that's how thick the mud was. But yet, that was the first time we never experienced like something like where you lose everything, everything. The only thing that was left alive because my dad he had several goats, and we had a whole bunch of chickens. I mean, we never ran out of eggs. Several chickens, and we had 14 pigeons. I remember 14 because I was the one who took care of that. They ate out of my hand, kind of like. That was the only thing that was left was all the pigeons flying around. That's it. About one,
105.
yeah, somewhere around there.
So for those that don't know, the tsunami that hit in Hilo, Hawaii, where we're from, that tsunami officially broke ground. Well, I don't know what time, but there's a clock. If you ever go to the Big Island, and the Big Island is not Maui, so let's not get that misconstrued. So
Mhm.
the Big Island is the Big Island. It's the island of Hawaii, if you want to be real technical. That's where the volcano and the snow is. So in Hilo, that's the eastern side of the island. That's where the tsunami hit. And as soon as it hit this one part of the Hilo town, just inside the harbor, yeah,
Mhm.
there's a clock that is still there today. And it stopped at 105, I think.
Somewhere around there.
I think 105 or 10, but the clock is still there. You can Google it. The tsunami of 1916 Hilo, 59 people, I think.
I think they said 64, something like that.
Yeah. So whatever they show, I'm sure the history is different, but that's what my dad been through. Like, well, and it was in the dark. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember you
Totally
shared
dark.
about the in the daytime, it was already the effects,
Mhm.
right? With the fish.
Yeah. Yeah, we kept hearing stories about, when the tsunami was about to strike, the water would recede, and we kept hearing, "Oh, let's go get fish." And people with boxes running down to go get all the stranded fish.
On the rocks, yeah,
Yeah.
on the reef,
Hmm.
or lava rocks, actually, yeah,
Yeah.
or both, yeah.
But the thing to give you the idea of the strength of the tsunami back then, there was on the breakwater in the Hilo Bay. There's a breakwater. That's what kept the bay calm on the inside. Um, one or two of the those boulders from the breakwater was deposited onto the beach, the black sand beach
That's
in
the
Hilo
one,
Bay.
like a car, yeah. It's big, yeah. So if you don't know, they have these big boulders, they're like the size of a car. There's,
14 tons.
yeah,
Yeah.
they
So
lifted it.
yeah. So that was the actual the strength of the tsunami that came in. It wasn't actually, a lot of people used to think it was an actual wave, but actually it was really a rising of the ocean, from what I've been reading and everything. And then it just simply looked for the lower part, which was Hilo,
But the sheer force too, right?
the sheer
Because
force of
I
it.
wish we had photos. I pulled it up before, or go buy his book. His book's on Amazon. He has a book that he wrote, but there's pictures of the,
Hmm.
what do you call those things? The parking meters.
Oh yeah,
Parking meters are all bent over.
hmm
Yeah,
yeah, because Hilo was a thriving community. The town of Hilo, Bayfront had all the stores going all the way down to Waikia Settlement, which is where the clock is, and everything was wiped out there. And so now you see a lot of trees. They planted a lot of trees, so hopefully it'll slow down the strength of the tsunami that would be coming in if we have another one. So
well, or we can climb on top of the coconut tree and
mm,
get safe from the water. It's a joke, but there was somebody that did that in Indonesia. He climbed up a coconut tree.
mm,
I don't know if he survived. Oh yeah. So for those that don't know, like tsunami warning systems, there was one in Lapahoihoi
mhm.
Elementary School.
Yeah,
I think 200 and at least 220 kids died
yeah.
from that tsunami. Probably more because they didn't have a warning system because it was in the daytime.
Hmm. April Fool's Day,
April Fool's Day. That was in 1940 something.
1946, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what brought the concern to do the warning system. And quite frankly, I didn't hear the sirens. Maybe it did sound. My dad, your grandpa, he may have heard it, but we just didn't know what to do. And so when it hit, a lot of people just were caught totally unawares, because it's not like how we tested it once a month. Once a month, you test the
Not like
sirens,
not
right?
like when I was in school. You'll
Yeah,
test it once a month.
yeah.
So when I was in KL Elementary, which is in Hilo side or the east side of the Big Island, every month they do fire drill. But we also do earthquake drill, and then
Yeah.
we get on top of our desk. So, and maybe I'm embellishing the story, but I remember we run outside to the grass for the fire. We go underneath the desk for earthquake. Or
That's
if
right.
you're the hall monitor, you had to go shishi or go bathroom. Guess what you had to do? You had to go find the nearest doorpost. I remember as a kid, like, oh my god, because they have these alarms and they test you. So if you're that guy who had to go bathroom, guess what? You got to go find your doorpost, and it was so fun but scary at the same time. You got to go look for doorposts, and you got to stand under the doorpost.
Hmm.
The rest of us got underneath the desk in case things fall down. And then of course the other one was we get on top of the desk, and maybe I'm misconstruing that part, but I do remember we get on top of the desk, and I'm guessing that's for flooding, whatever. So, oh, hot lava, yeah, for lava, bro. Let me okay. Let's pause for a second, bro. You know how, and I apologize to my ex family, bro. You know how long it took for us to go live, and I'm so sorry because, bro, I said 2 hours ago we'll be live. My wife was sitting, so, bro, and my pigeon's coming out. My wife had to learn coding in the past 2 hours. She was doing HTML prompt, HC prompt, whatever she was doing just to get the camera to work. We got a brand new laptop, so I apologize, guys. But we're here. We're here, and we're gonna hang out, just talk story. But yeah, going back to the whole evacuation system, when I was talking about the tsunami. So Hawaii and tsunamis, I think the last major tsunami was when my dad uh, was a kid. The
Mhm.
last tsunami we had was when I was in my third. Wait, hold on, I think in my 40s, 30s. I forget. It was in Oahu. There was a legit tsunami, and it was I think 12 inches. People laugh 12 inches, but so 12 inches is huge when you think about surges. Okay, so
Jet stream.
we're not talking about a wave. When we say tsunami, when all the water levels rise, I don't care if it's 12 inches or 20 feet, it still goes, it encroaches up on property. So the one in Hilo, no, Kona, that one wasn't even that high, but it flooded the entire town of Kona, Ali'i Drive, Kailua Kona.
Kona.
And it wasn't even that high. So when we say tsunami, we're talking about in the entire, all of God's creation, as far as the ocean is concerned, comes up onto the land. I made it sound pretty majestic, I know. So the other thing I wanted to ask, and I know, but I want you guys to know, like, in terms of the sounds and just the experience of what you heard, you shared it before with our other crowd, but how would you describe the sounds and how it made you felt when when the water came into the house?
Well, the first thing I felt was the whole house was, I was on the bed. It was shaking, and there was a lot of creaking, uh, thundering. The shaking, creaking, thundering. I could hear the rafters. We know it now is the rafters in the roof and beams below, just crunching and just it was totally new to me, of course, and like, is this how you feel when you think you're gonna die? Because you're kind of like you're by yourself. I'm by myself, and I'm hearing all of this, and the only consolation I had came in a few instances when my dad, I could hear his voice screaming my name. That's all. But you think
What did he call you?
that's Rudy.
He called you
He
Rudy?
called me Rudy, 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 Rudy. And he's I think he pulled me like, held me like a football. If I remember, he held me like a football, and I was in the sixth grade now. But he held me like a football, and I could feel him just making his way into the kitchen. I could feel the water just swirling around, and again, never had this experience because I grew up going spearfishing, swimming in the ocean and all this kind of stuff. But to hear the thundering,
And it
and,
must have been
and
scarier too because it's.
You're not on mic,
No.
It's not on mic. Like, we'll get you on mic. Wow, they
Yeah.
cannot hear you. So, say it again.
It must have been scarier
Oh,
because it was in pitch black dark.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Scary.
But you can hear all these
Yeah,
scary.
it was, and it's like as if everything is pushing at you at from every angle, and the sounds coming from everywhere. you know and the thing is, the amount of force that was coming um, onto the home was, like, due to, how the thing happened in Lapahoihoi, that tsunami. When the tsunami came and the ocean rose, it rolled down the entire coast from way up like Honokaa down to Lapahoihoi, and ended up in Hilo, because Hilo is shaped like a crescent, like a moon, and the tsunami just rolled right in there, and every business, every home, every whatever that was out in Bayfront was totally. You look at the next day, all that was left was those parking meters. That's it.
Well, in Hawaii, they don't believe in bricks. Yeah. Yeah.
No.
If you don't know Hawaii or any tropical, um, most tropical places, they don't. Where we want to get bricks from? We don't want rocks. We want to have coconut trees.
Yeah. Yeah.
But okay, Maury has a question.
Did you ever think at some point, because it was dark, that you were in the water, that your house had floated?
Oh, that's a
into
good
the
question.
water?
At the first instance, no. It just sounded like thunder and lightning, but no light. Just thunder, and shaking. And so I had no idea what that was until my dad came and the bed, the bed, I could feel the water coming on in the dark. I could feel the water coming on bed, so I didn't know what to do. I'm sixth grade, just finished the sixth grade. I knew, what the ocean was, but not in that,
In your house.
not in that. No.
So I haven't done this in a while, but I don't know if in replay or if anybody live, what would you rate the top 3 worst ways to die? I'm almost certain drowning is in the top 3. Burning alive, drowning, and what's the other one?
Buried.
Buried alive. Yeah. I guess in the tsunami, you tell you can be 2 out of the 3, depending where. So to make it a little bit light, so where my dad's house was, how many blocks would you say the house was moved?
Well, actually, it didn't move that much. Like it was going from this house to our neighbor's house. That's all. But
That's all, yeah. Just the whole house moved. So you're in your neighbor's yard.
yeah,
Not that much, yeah.
not that much, but it lifted it up off the foundation. That's the thing, was it just lifted it up and jumped onto the supply area.
So my dad's house. How many of you guys that are watching, you ever had a local moco? If you don't know what a local moco is, no, it's not a crazy beef. That's not what it means. It's rice, hamburger patty, and a easy over or sunny side egg on top
Plenty gravy.
with brown gravy. And it's not the magical gravy you make from. It's a simple McCormick's gravy, and it's broke them out. It's so good. Well, where my dad's house was, that's where it was invented, right? Where this place called
Cafe 100.
Cafe 100. Google it, and you can fact check me on that. So that's where his house was, in the back of that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the tsunami is what a lot of people think when it comes in a surge, they think it only comes in this way, right? Like if your house is right here, that it only comes. But really, the tsunami doesn't just come this way. It comes wherever there's water. So if there's streams or rivers, it's going to flood those first and come. And a lot of times it'll come back this way. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the surge is in, out, until it finally just decides to what do you call it? Subside.
Subside, yeah. But
So
if you want to have an idea of what it looks like in the day, look at the one that happened in Japan. It went all.
Oh, that's right.
It went in miles, and then when it receded, when it receded, that's when and you had cars, you had buildings, trucks, buses, everything carried along, smashed everything along.
So no trauma. You're done. How old are you now?
I'm done. I'm 76.
A lot of people think, you guys say help me. You guys can do the Zoe or Han. If you guys gotta help me do that. I cannot multitask. They're telling me to go look at the Twitch. So Twitch and X. I apologize. My iPad is like 30 feet away from me. I cannot touch it. So I'm trying to do it. But you would think that with the tsunami, how old you was? How?
Sixth grade. Just finished the sixth grade, going into the seventh. It was May
13,
May something. Yeah.
I think it was 13, 12, 11.
Mm-hmm.
So I swear you was like 6. I remember, but
Sixth grade.
no, 6 years old. But
Sixth. No.
here's the truth, guys. Like being a quote unquote pastor for years, and sometimes you learn how to tell good stories. Sometimes the age changes, or the one thing that didn't change is the location. So, but with all that thing, that trauma, whatever, you would think that was the, I won't say highlight, but in terms of adversity. So if you guys haven't really caught a glimpse, but if you notice my dad's hands, he doesn't have your traditional fingers. So he's had that since birth. Actually, he had a lot less than that since birth. And I know we brought in the tsunami. So if anyone wants to talk about tsunami, you're more than welcome to. But I wanted to jump into a little bit earlier for those of you that don't know. But my dad was born with,
Amniotic band
yeah,
syndrome.
I'll let you explain that.
It's called amniotic band syndrome. You can actually find it on Facebook. They have a page, amniotic band syndrome or ABS, and there are thousands of people that have almost identical hands like I do. And what happens is that while I was in the womb, apparently from what I was reading, is that the uterine walls um, breaks down and gets into like filaments, like fishing line, and it wraps around the extremities of the infant, and that's why you can see rings right here. And I was born like I had mittens on, no fingers, nothing. You couldn't even see the. But what happened was when the hospital shiners saw the bone structure, they decided to do um, surgery and separate. And so,
Also, they had to cut.
yeah. And then they got skin graft of, you know, kind of like off of my ass. Sorry, I had to put that in. But no, skin grafts from places, and they so that it could heal properly. And I grew up with this, so it was do or die. I had to learn everything. If you knew my dad, Greg's grandpa, if you knew him, he was the type. He never said I love you. Like the traditional way we would say I love you. I love you. My dad was from the old country. He just never. He was just the type, just a man guy. I'm not gonna say, but I'm gonna show you how much I love you by. And he didn't say that. He just showed me. He showed me how to button my shirt, my button shirt, and he showed me the first one. After that, I was on my own, and he would sit there and he would watch me. And I don't know if it was encouragement. He didn't scold, but he just said, "This just a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more." And I was crying for 30 minutes trying to get it on. And then one was done. We would clap.
So he would cheer you on, kind
Yeah,
of, sort
yeah,
of.
yeah. He would do that, and he would clap. I'm crying now. But he do the next button. I had to do 8 buttons. You know how long that took, Zoe? Eight, and then and then the next day he showed me how to touch. You know how long that took? Because I got
Frustration.
I'm gonna pause for a second because I'm getting emotional. What the heck? My wife crying over here, and I never asked my dad in detail. My dad and I never sat down and just talked about his hands. Like, when we do lives like this is when I find out more, because I never saw my dad as being handicapped.
Mm.
My dad never claimed disability. He could have claimed physical and mental disability. Seriously, if you have a physical handicap, I would go mental.
I should have.
He should have. All the
No,
money
my
they're throwing out right now.
yeah, my parking handicap
Yeah,
parking.
we needed a parking stall. What the heck?
Yeah.
But so I never asked my dad, and so just hearing this is good. Like, is good because it's different now because I'm a dad. I got 2 boys, 2 girls, and so do you have do you have button up shirts?
Yeah, yeah. I have
You don't
button up.
cry anymore when you put them on.
No, I don't. No, I'm expert at it now. I had to be.
Yeah.
It like I said, it was sink or swim. That was my dad. He never taught me how to speak Filipino, even though I'm second generation here from Hawaii.
Oh, that's good.
My dad is, but he
I
wanted
mean,
to
it's not good
westernnize me. Yeah, he wanted to westernnize me.
because of the pressure. Was it pressure back
Yeah,
then?
yeah. Just the idea of being here in Hawaii because he's the only one out of all his brothers. He came with four brothers, four other brothers. They went on to California, and he stayed here working at the sugar cane company's office. And if you saw mom's handwriting, right?
Yeah, beautiful.
Beautiful. He had better handwriting than she did. He was one of those that was like he had to get ready to write before.
Was he lefty? And
He was a
right-handed.
right-hander.
So my dad's a lefty.
I'm a lefty.
So, and I don't mean that. I'm not disrespecting my dad, but I'm selling the idea that brother man no more fingers. His handwriting's better than you. I'm telling you straight up. He also types 100 words a minute. Not now. There was a time when he peaked. He peaked at 100 words a minute. Brother, 500. I said 500. 100 words a minute. Who types 100 words a minute? Like you hit, and today, if you type 100 words a minute, you are a gamer that gets paid $1 million a month.
I should have, I should have taken up games.
Yeah. And
programming.
He was a swimmer on the swimming team. He taught me how to play basketball, and I became MVP in my high school 2 years in a row, in my mind, But I was a defensive player of the year 2 years in a row, and it's all because of my dad. So, yeah, you got to finish the story about your hands. So we know they cut it.
Yeah.
They
separated the fingers so I don't have any joints, usable joints after the knuckles, so like you folks do. So I had to learn again when I sat at the when I got 4F. I was classified as 4F.
What is 4F?
That means when you enlist for the army.
Oh, that's Captain America.
Yeah,
the Captain America classification.
That's right. They classified him 4F.
I don't know.
Yeah, he couldn't get into he would not have gotten into the army because he was 4F. Hey, I got something with Captain America. And you know what? The thing is, because I was classified 4F, I couldn't go into the army. I had to figure out what to do. My dad your grandpa said, you go business school. You go business school. Okay. Technical school, whatever you want to call it. And so he enrolled me. And I remember going into typing class. I sat at the chair and I froze. I totally froze there. And I remember her name, Florence Esteban. She said,
"That's her real name."
That's her real name. Sorry, guys. I mean, I don't know if she's still around, but she said, "You can't type, but we're going to show you how to do it, not like how everybody else does it." So she showed me. These are the home keys. You put your fingers here, and we tried, and she said, "Oh, I noticed you can't use your middle finger, so you're gonna have to adjust this and adjust that."
Oh, that's right. So you don't use your home keys.
I use the home keys,
but not with the all fingers.
This one here, the middle finger was a killer. It's too short. I can't flip anybody off. You ever know? You take a look at this.
So no matter how hard he tries, my dad cannot give you the middle finger.
I cannot.
He'll give you the shaka instead. You give you the middle finger.
And the story about it is
okay. I'm sorry.
No, the story that I read about that is that because this guy didn't have fingers, he was waving to people.
Oh yeah, that's how it started.
And so it started like this. So anyway, but
I'm gonna get in trouble, and I'm sorry in advance. My wife is already giving me
She showed me how to type, and I remember struggling through this, for days and almost weeks on end. But she kept on pushing me. It was tough love, because she didn't play it too soft. She said, kind of like quit crying and pull yourself up by your bootstraps and just try to get it on. Just go and do it. Just do it. So because of all that practice and all that, I became somewhat proficient. And these are the old clackety-clack typewriters.
Typewriters.
Yeah, the old kids today, they don't know what typewriters are, So, but
they know the sound effects because you can buy the sound effects on.
Yeah, those keyboards now you can buy. It has a clicking in it. But yeah, that's the kind of I learned to type on the IBM Selectric typewriter, and I had been using it at the bank for like 17 years.
So yeah, my dad was I say bank executive. That just means he worked at the bank, but he was vice president of one.
Well, I started as a teller at Bank of Hawaii, I was there for about 5 years, and then for the next 12 years, I was at the Pioneer Federal's Savings Bank. It was association before, so Pioneer Federal Savings Bank, and that's where, because I was doing a lot of typing, I I had this IBM Selectric typewriter. It had a ball in it that went back and forth in there, and the feel
Oh,
was
that was the
so
high tech
good.
one.
Yeah, yeah,
The ball is like the Borg. They tick tick yes, yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah.
what it was. And so I used that typewriter for like 12 years. So by the time I went to learn how to be in poverty as a pastor at the
We'll
Bible
come to that
college,
story in a second.
um, I had someone suggested I go and apply for a job at the newspaper company, because they said, we saw you type and you look like you can type a little bit, pretty good. So I went and applied for the job. And I remember this the human resources lady. She took me into this room, and I remember passing a room full of women. I seem to remember it real bright, real clearly. And she sat me down at this typewriter and gave me a piece of paper. So I rolled it in and said, "Oh wow, this is the typewriter I've been using for 12 years, IBM Selectric." So I went in there, and she says, "Okay, ready, set, go." And I started typing it. I didn't even look at, you know how people, they always looking at their hands. I did not look at my hands. I was just going at it, just going at it, just going at it. That was my first test. Well, I'm supposed to take two. So finished the test. And so I handed the sheet of paper to her, and she looked at it. And I sat back down at the table with the typewriter, and she says, "Oh, that should do it." I said, "Really?" "Yeah." "Okay. So how did I do?" And she says, "Well, you grossed 101 and you had two errors.
So 99.
So 99." Oh, I wish I could snap my fingers, but I can't snap my fingers. But I said, "Wow, I just missed it by at least one. I could have made 100 words." Like I said, wow, wow, big deal. But the thing is, she walked me, I think she purposely walked me past all the 14, whatever number of women there was in. They were waiting. They were waiting to see if they got the job. Yeah, but I got the job. I got the job. I was ad typing, earphones, and I took phone calls and I took the ad. And at first it was difficult for me because here I am typing like crazy. But some of the people, because of that southern accent that they had, I had difficulty, you know, spelling some of their words.
So for those that don't know, we moved from Hawaii to South Carolina in Greenville.
Mhm.
That was the Greenville News.
Yeah, Greenville News, Piedmont.
I
Yeah.
think back then they only had 100,000 people, maybe,
Mhm.
and now I think it's like 400, almost 400,000. I think something like that.
Yeah. That's because they put the new highway in there.
Yeah.
It goes right through the college that we were enrolled in. But yeah, it was it was a different kind of experience living there. Excuse me.
So if you look at his hands, I'll tell you guys a story. When we were in the South, and so if you don't know who my dad's Filipino, if you can't tell,
Mm.
some people don't know, so I gotta explain. Some people think we're proud. I'm telling you. Anyways, I'm Hawaiian. My mom was Hawaiian Chinese, and my dad's Filipino. So here's my dad getting this job in an all white office, maybe a couple of black people, maybe I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Where we live he was either Caucasian or African American. Got to be politically correct. But here comes this short little 5'4", I don't know what he is guy coming in there, and he just took your job. And going back to his fingers though, one time he was playing with a cat, our cat named Alex, and he was harassing the cat. If you're a cat owner, if you grab your cat by the face and you just shove it back and forth, the cat will get mad, and the cat kept like clawing him and yelling at him and biting him. And I looked at my dad's hands. I'm like, "Dad, your hand's bleeding." He's like, "Yeah, I know." I said, "Dad, the thing not sore. Your hand not sore." He goes, "No." I said, and my mind thinking, "Why? It's bleeding." And my dad at that moment told me, "Oh yeah, I don't have nerve. I cannot feel pain on this part of my hand." I'm thinking, "What the heck?" And I joke about it, but I don't want to traumatize my dad or myself, but I remember all the times he used to spank me as a kid.
Oh,
And
here we go.
I'm thinking,
Here we go.
"Bah, that's the same hands that he used to give me lickings with." And I joke about that, but I want to rewind because there's so I don't know if I always embellish stories, right? I remember my dad used to tell us. So when we was in the South, it was a foreign land, literally, and people didn't know who we were. What like. So my dad felt compelled to teach me and my brother martial arts to protect ourselves. And it was just like the movies, bro. Just like, bro, Mr. Miyagi teaching wax on, bro. Within our yard, doing wax on, punches, yeah.
Jackie Chan.
And he was teaching us this stuff, and it was legit for real. And I would say for anybody that's a parent, bro, teach your boys how to defend themselves. Teach your kids. I taught my daughter when we took a trip. Was it Hawaii? So we took a trip, and I said, we're not going to be home. Here's the axe, and I think it's still there. I said, here's the axe. Anybody tries to get ball, you see this axe. And I told her what to do with it. But anyways, my dad, I remember as a kid, he used to always tell us that people used to make fun of him. Yeah, is that true? Make fun of you or make trouble or maybe look at you. I don't know. They did something to him because of the way his hands were. Today they call it bullying. Yeah, was that bullying back then? Too?
Yeah. Harassing, bullying. Yeah.
But you still got the girl.
Still got the girl.
You still got the girl.
I still got the girl.
He got the hottest woman on the planet at the time. It was my mom.
Smoking hot. Man.
Yeah.
Oh, and I was timing too. I already was going with somebody. Oh, I shouldn't be saying that. Sorry.
No need to use the name.
No, but yeah, I couldn't lose the opportunity though, because I don't know. When we were going to Bible college, not Bible, but business college, and I was, at the time I was learning how to type and all that. And this new girl comes to school. I said, "Oh my goodness, I can't lose this opportunity." You would define me probably as a stalker back then, because I knew exactly where your mom was going. Her classes, when she came to school, when she left the school, what area should be walking.
You're talking about my mom.
Your mom.
Oh, okay. It's like, make sure we're clear. It's not somebody else's mom.
No. Yeah.
Gotta make sure. Hey, you never know. Some people drift.
Yeah. So when she came walking up the administration steps, I was around the corner, and I timed myself perfectly. As soon as she came close enough, I stepped out from around the corner, and our eyes met, and I flashed my Filipino smile, and she just broke down. I mean, she smiled and said hi back, and I knew that was it. That was it. She took the bait.
No, well, my dad was he is, but back then he was obviously a lot younger, and he was a good looking man. You look at some of the pictures. I wish we
was.
He dressed well back then. Today it's all he's wearing sleeves today. Typically he doesn't have sleeves on. Typically he does sleeveless.
Yeah.
But the town that he is from, where I'm from, is the same town of this famous wealthy guy with a Japanese last name.
Robert Kiyosaki.
Same town.
Multi-millionaire.
Yeah.
Never met the guy. He was my classmate.
Actually, BJ Penn too. So BJ Penn is from Hilo.
Yeah,
so if you guys don't know the UFC guy, BJ Penn. I don't know if that would be bragging rights, but hey, you gotta give props to. We take it all, So.
Yeah. I heard that he took over the Hilo Lanes, the bowling alley, and making that his gym. I think that's what my sister-in-law said. Yeah. So yep, BJ Penn or Robert Kiyosaki.
Greg Lopez,
Rudy
tons
Lopez.
of famous people came from.
I'm telling you, yeah, that's right. I'm going back. Next week Monday. I'm going to go for 2 weeks. My hometown. Yoo-hoo. Yeah, I'm going to enjoy myself. Pickleball.
So, outside of him, going through that, moving to the mainland in the South, One other thing is I remember about my father was so him and my mom were going to school full time. Gave up all of their corporate 9 to 5 jobs in Hawaii to become pastors. So they went to college, and so while they're going to college full time now, I think mom didn't work the first year. I can't remember. You worked for
Um,
sure, obviously, but
well, she did work at a daycare
oh yeah, so that's right.
part
So my
time.
dad will work full time and go to school full time,
That's right.
and I'll never forget that. But here's the funny thing: they put us through private school as well from day one. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hmm. We just made it a point to put Bryce and Greg through private school, and how we were able to do that. Greg said I was working full time, and where I worked full time that made the most money was working at a textile company called Steel Heddle. And back then, and this was in 1987, and I started working at that company, textile company, all manual labor, everything manually. I just ran machines, and I got paid at that time $15 an hour. At that time, $15 an hour. I don't know what the minimum today is.
That's what they pay at like Wendy's
Yeah,
today.
yeah,
That's
but
minimum wage right now
mm,
in certain places.
yeah.
But
So
then that was also 30 years ago.
yeah, and
Yeah, 30 years ago.
I got paid $15 an hour 30 years ago, and I was almost guaranteed overtime because they worked us long hours. And the way it worked for me was that I was able to load up certain kinds of machines that fix textile parts, rounded textile parts, and those textile parts went into the looms that made the cloth that we wear right now. Anyway, they paid me $15 an hour, and then I always had overtime, so time and a half. And then on a couple of times a month, they paid me double time to deliver these parts down south, further south. So $30 an hour. Mom, really, she didn't have to work. She worked because she was a workaholic. That's how she was. Um, but oh man, at that time, I don't know if you ever realized it, but we bought a lot of ribeye steaks when I was getting paid that well at the textile company. So
I remember we was grilling a lot.
yeah,
I do remember
yeah,
that.
right.
I
When
do remember
Wednesdays
in the middle of
in
the
the middle
week,
of the night,
middle of the
sometimes
week,
the middle of the week, sometimes not in the middle of the night, but yeah,
sometimes nighttime. I remember seven,
yeah,
8 o'clock at night.
yeah. We would whip up that Weber cattle. Was it the charcoal Weber cattle?
So where we live, it was a college campus, but housing for families. So all the neighbors, you turn on the grill, all the neighbors knew because they could smell.
Yeah,
Like, oh, it's the Lopez family again. They're cooking.
yeah, yeah.
They're cooking teriyaki.
Yeah, I was just saying teriyaki.
Teriyaki.
Teriyaki, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Whenever we got a surprise package from friends back home in Hawaii, they would send us a box. Somehow everybody knew when that box came in. Oh, Lopez has got a box. I wonder what's in it. And they they got the first taste of what do you call that? Arare,
Yeah.
rice crackers,
Mochi crunch, we call
mochi
it.
crunch. Yeah, mochi crunch. First time experience. They loved it, and then of course, um, they got all kinds of stuff that my lady used to send us. Um, oh, long rice. Our neighbors thought it was worms.
Yeah, so in Hawaii we call it long rice, where it's basically
Bean threads.
yeah, like is it mung bean or rice?
No, it's
Rice?
mung bean
Some is
or sweet potato.
they have different styles. I think most people here or in the mainland they know
We call it long rice.
long rice.
Yeah, long rice. Yeah. So yeah, mom would cook the chicken long rice, right? And so we invited the neighbors over, and so we served it up to him, and he looked at it. I remember Steve saying, he says, this, you're kidding me, right? So no, let's try it. So he tasted the soup first. He loved the taste of the soup. Mom made real good chicken long rice, and he puts the long rice a little bit in the mouth, and he goes, Doesn't taste like worms. It
Good worms.
was good worms. He cleaned up the bowl and he asked for two more. I mean, he had three servings. I mean, mom looked surprised. Like, I mean, she cooked a lot, but just like he like once he got used to the texture and the taste of it, he just got hooked on it. So yeah,
If you guys are wondering why he's holding ukulele, it's his security.
security
It's a
blanket.
security blanket. But I want to go back and just for anybody that. So my dad, I always use him as an example of no excuses. Yeah. Again, I shared earlier if my dad never claimed disability, which he could have, and he still did it. He got the girl, had the job, and he plays ukulele on top of that. I mean, and he's actually uh he's the one that taught my kids a little bit, I think. Yeah. So he taught Zoe. That's right. He taught my youngest daughter how to play ukulele.
Yeah, I remember. I got the videos yet.
Yeah.
She had the ukulele. She's going, yeah, I can do it. Yeah.
So what is this one compared to the ones we have? Why this one?
This one is really special. I was I had already played ukulele for years and years, and then I decided I want to upgrade from what I already had, which was pretty good ukuleles. But um, so I was online. Um, where was I? Oh, it was at the Kailua address, and I was online on Amazon, and I was looking for some good ukuleles that I could afford, and didn't know Bryson snuck up behind me because he was curious what I'm gonna buy again, because I'm always Amazon is my store, right? And so he sees me and it says, Dad, what you doing? I said, oh, no, nothing. I just, window shopping. He says, I know what you're doing, but I'm just asking that because I know what you're doing. He says, Dad, the Chinese don't know how to make ukuleles because a lot of the manufacturers of the ukuleles that are sold online are made in China. And so he said, don't
We're
do that.
Chinese, by the way. We're part Chinese. We can say that.
Yeah, they can. Yeah, we can.
He can. I can.
Yeah. So he says, don't do nothing. I'll be right back. So he goes from Kailua, drives to the other side of the island, 11 miles to Honolulu, goes to, I'm going to give a plug, goes to Dan's Guitars, Keomoku Street. And he comes back with a $1,500 ukulele right here. And he says, yeah, Dad, this is special. So you're going to make this last for years. And he says, this thing is made out of Ekoa, Ekoa. I said, oh, like coal wood. No, no, no. Ekoa, it's a fiber. It's a plant fiber. So what they do is they put it into a mold mixed with resin. And then when it hardens, then they they make the holes here. And this whole thing is one piece. And then there's a hole up here at the treble is a bass hole. So, and it has a low G string. So what you have is my dog is loose. So this year, I think it's probably about 8 years now. I think I've had this. And yeah, this is my girlfriend. This is Clara. Only Clara because that's the model name. It's Clara. So she goes with me wherever I go. I took her all over the Southwest. When I was doing my road trips, I was living out of my car just because I wanted to be a boondocker and live in the forest and the deserts. So, but I played this thing, and I learned basically how to play the ukulele. Greg's grandpa one day, I don't know if he remembers this, but we were in Hilo, and we were we were at the Palace Theater, and his grandpa was across the street in the music shop, and he comes out. He says, "Rudy, bring the boys over." So I took Bryson and Greg, and we went into the music store, and he said, um, "We can get the two ukuleles for them." So he bought the two ukuleles, brought them home, and we enrolled them in I don't know who taught Arouge. Her last name was Arouge because she was an ukulele teacher. So they started taking lessons, and but the thing is, when they they were never all that good about cleaning up after themselves. You know, I had to pick up all the sheets of music and also put away the ukuleles. And then one night, as I was putting them away, there was all these sheets on the couch, and it had those, the music lines and all the staff, and there were dots on it. There were dots on it. I said, "Hey." So I picked up either Bryson's or Greg's. I don't know whose one it was, and it showed one dot, and it said C. Wow, I can do that. Once, and then the two had two dots on it. I can use two of the fingers, but it wasn't the fingers that I'm supposed to. It's like was typing. I couldn't use this, but so I was able to make the two. Wow, I have now. I can. That's a C. I can do the C, and I can also do the F. Wow. The G was a problem because I had to use my middle finger. That middle
This
finger.
is what G looks like. So you have to do like
A
literally like you gotta do this.
Uh-huh.
Like literally like that.
Yeah, I couldn't do that. So I had to make a G, or what's called a G7. Oh, I can do that, but I had to put the teeny short middle finger here and then the other two over here. Hey, wow. I had three. I got three. That, F, and then the G. Wow.
Well,
And
then
then
you do a minor.
and the A minor. I had one finger. Wow. And the song one song sheet that was on there, it was I will enter his gates with thanksgiving in my heart. I will enter his courts with praise. I will say this is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice, for he has made me glad. I played that song from 9 p.m. until 3 o'clock a.m.
Until your fingers bleed.
Until it bled.
Bled.
Yeah, it bled. But I was
True
happy.
story.
I was crying. I was happy because I threw out what's called a fleece to God. I threw out a fleece and said, and I wasn't really a believer then, but I said, God, if you show me how to play this thing, I'll play it in church too, you know. And sure enough, in several hours, I was playing a song completely. And I think, you know, I don't think I want regular hands. I think these were given to me. I don't think I want any of it. Because if this is what they call a blessing, then I'll take it. And so I took it to, not this one here, but several. I've had several. And did I have it in South Carolina? An ukulele.
Yeah, we had the Kamaka for sure.
Kamaka, yeah. Kamaka, oh my goodness. You can't afford Kamaka now. Um, but yeah, I've been playing this since 1980, if I recall right. Somewhere around 1980. And it's been my, like I said, my security blanket. Um, it gives me an idea of what I think God can do for myself. Um, whenever I'm not feeling well, or whenever I'm feeling melancholy. Yeah. So
That is literally 90% of all the songs that are out today. That chord progression.
oh, is it? I never thought about that.
Yeah. The C, F, A minor, G, back to C. That's like the typical.
Oh wow.
So for those that don't know, that season of our life as a family, that's what started, I guess, our journey together, but even individually. My brother and I We started. I can't remember. The guitar came second.
Guitar came second.
So after learning how to play ukulele, I learned how to play guitar, and literally within months of learning how to play guitar, my guitar teacher and those two Hawaiian ladies, I forget, it was for May Day, and I don't even remember being asked. I just remember going up on stage and playing, and I was so nervous.
You remember his name, huh?
Yeah,
Ray.
Peralta, or Ray Peralta.
Ray Peralta, yeah.
And I actually took guitar from his at the time ex-wife, Elise or Peralta, I forget.
Mhm.
But that's what started around that time, and my grandfather sowing seed into our family by giving us ukuleles. Uh, so from ukulele to guitar to piano, we had. If you can find a Casio, my dad bought a Casio. Bro, the one you put batteries inside or plug in, it was like 20 keys or something. It was a little toy. It was kind of a toy, but it wasn't. It was an actual musical instrument to different sounds. But that started the curiosity of what sounds you, or what kind of music you can create. If you can find one of those now, they're actually worth a lot of money. What else? So from that to piano to drums, eventually bass, electric guitar, and it all started with not just his dad, but him actually playing, and it all goes back to the part where, bro, I have no excuse if my dad can figure it out and do it well, you know. But I will say this, I wanted to go to. So for those of you that, if you didn't catch in the story already, but so my mom passed away in 2014, which 9 years now.
9 years.
9 years. So if you heard him talking about, he was what was the word? He was driving around nomad? No, not nomad. What you said? Living in your car?
Yeah, nomad. Yeah, I wanted to be a nomad. I was living as a nomad, um, just living out in campgrounds and open spaces, free
In
land.
a Toyota Prius.
Yeah, I have.
So when we were in Kailua, Oahu, Hawaii. So, if you don't know where Kailua is the east side of Oahu. That's where, just for point of reference, that's where Obama would vacation for a very long time every year. What else is Kailua good for? But anyways, my dad left. My brother left first. So my brother left Hawaii 3 years ago now.
Yeah,
3 years ago to start a new life here in Oregon. And my dad left a year later, or less than a year.
less than a year.
My dad shipped his car, his Toyota Prius, to go live in his car and travel
Yes.
the entire United States and live in his car. So if you've never done that, or you don't know what that is, I'll have my dad share that story. Why you did that? You gotta tell them the reason why you did that.
Well, the thing is, without this is something that my wife would not do with me. Absolutely not. But it was I decided to move to the mainland, escape the what do you call that, cost of living in Hawaii, and I took my Prius, put a mattress in the back, and as long as I had food, water, and clothes, I was going to be okay. At least I believe so, because I kept watching so many YouTube videos of people that are actually living out in the deserts and in the forests of, like, mostly in the south, western states. So I went and drove and lived out in the Arizona desert, Utah, in the forests, Idaho, and you know California. I was even down there during the fires. But yeah,
How many states?
a total of 13 states. I didn't go east of the Mississippi. I went as far east as
But
Texas.
you've been to more states than like 30, right? Altogether.
Well, 13. 13.
California, Oregon, Washington,
Idaho.
Colorado, Idaho.
North Dakota,
North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana,
Montana.
South Carolina, North Carolina.
No, I didn't go east.
But I mean, overall in your life,
Oh yeah.
Georgia,
Yeah.
11, Florida, 12,
Yeah.
New Mexico.
New Mexico.
New Mexico.
You've been to quite a bit, just passing through too.
Yeah.
Washington,
Yeah.
Canada.
You've been in Canada. Well, Canada don't count
No.
you in. Canada, you guys, your own country, so
Yeah.
you don't qualify.
But the thing is, the idea came to me after I was watching a lot of YouTube videos and thought about the possibility of doing that. And when I mentioned it to Bryson, I think it kind of opened up the door for him because he had always wanted to, he always wanted to buy or build a home, which he would never have been able to do. None of us are able to do it in Hawaii right now, ever. And so, and Bryson, if you haven't met Bryson and you know Greg, they're two totally polar opposites of each other. Where Bryson wanted to, um, like a bird of paradise, you build a nest and then you go get the bird, the female. See, but you look at Greg, he went and got the female first, and then he's got to build his nest.
You know what's funny? So when my brother moved to Oregon, he was telling me how good he was blessed. I think his mortgage was like 1300, whatever. And then I told him, he goes, you should come up to Oregon. And what's up, brother Jim? I see Jim in Twitch. And so I told him, no, we're good. Like we're in a good place, and we started a church, and our church, we're in Honolulu. And so when I told him how much just to have the house and food, and he was like, what in the heck are you guys doing? Because just for the house already, it's $35.50 a month. Our electric bill was on average $400 a month on average, our electricity bill. Okay, so just to have the house and electricity, you're already at $4,000. Yeah. Now that's our fault too, because we had four refrigerators. 1, 2, 3. So we had a refrigerator in the garage downstairs. We had a refrigerator upstairs in the kitchen. We had a refrigerator in our bedroom because we never like walk down the hallway to go get ice cream or soda.
Oh.
And then we had a freezer as well. So that's why electric. Well, that's not why. Hawaii is just expensive, period. So Hawaii at one time, if not still, is the highest per kilowatt hour in the nation, if not the world. Maybe not the world, but Hawaii's expensive electricity. When we came to Oregon, I saw the electric bill. I was like, what the heck? $50.
I know.
$50. Oh, now it's higher because of winter. But so you and Bryson left. Like, why? Why would you say you guys left? If there was,
For me, it was the idea of it just escaping, and I still got Hawaii in me. I don't mind saying that. Hawaii will always be there. It's just that the cost of living just did not make sense when you look at where we were renting, right, in Kailua. I mean, the rent was 1,700. Okay, by the time we left, and just right up the lane, you got homes that are about 800,000. And you go 2 blocks toward the beach, it's 1.2 million. Bryson, he saw the writing on the wall. So when I told him that, hey, I want to try living like a boondock. I want to live with dispersed land, all the free land out there. I want to go driving. I want to go see as much as I can see and experience as much as I can experience. When I told him that, he said, "Oh, that opened the door for him because that's how we got to meet his vice president from Bedmart." And the Bedmart guy said, "Oh, hey, you're talking about wanting to build a home? Can't do it in Hawaii. Why don't you do it in Oregon?"
and this is where they're from.
Yeah. Oh, is that right?
Yeah. Well, I just want to give a shout out to, I don't know if any of the Bedmart family will be watching, but if you are, and we're grateful for what you guys did for my brother. So I'll just throw that out there. But yeah, this is where they're
Yeah.
the company headquarters.
So he got his the man said, "Yeah, why don't you come up to Oregon? I'm sure there's an opening here." And so Bryson took up his offer. Bryson was so impressed because that's how he got his Tesla. Because I guess when he was in Hawaii, that's when Bryson bought his Tesla there. Yeah, I remember that.
$1,000 a month too.
Yeah, right.
That was his car payment, I think.
Yeah,
This after he came back from his trip because he got to drive the
he
truck.
got to drive it, and once he got the taste of it, that's it. He went out and bought one.
Amazing cars.
Yeah, yeah. And so, but when he decided to move up to Oregon because of the, promised cost of living, he took up the guy's offer, and they set him up in an apartment in Redmond, Oregon. And he started working at the Redmond Bed Mart and at the Bend,
Ben, yeah.
yeah, in Bend as well. So, and we rented for about 8 months or so, something like that. Moved into a friend's home here in Prineville, and
Well, that was a whole nother story too, yeah.
yeah, yeah. He was able to save enough money to make a down payment for this home, and it's like for Bryson, it was a total eye opener. Wow, because he used to drag me in the car, put me in the car, and we go driving all over the place. I mean, we go as far as Sandy. I'm
Which
outside
is
of
like
Portland.
2 hours away.
Yeah,
At least 2 hours.
yeah. We'd be driving and said, "Oh, I would be good to live here. Would be good to live there. Or the property is cheap here. Or we can build a home over here." And we'd be driving all around Prineville and Redmond, all around. And finally, after going, is that the Zillow or whatever online thing that he looked at, he was able to find this particular house right here. This is prime property, the way I see it. It's right next to the hospital. And
Which we later find out would be very important.
yeah, really, yeah. So he was able to get this home, and I've discovered something phenomenal in the transformation of Bryson. In that, for the first time in my lifetime and in his lifetime, he's outside in the yard doing yard work. He never ever would do yard work, but he would go out, and he bought this thing called Grandpa's weeder, and he'd be out there pulling up, the what do you call those things that had a long root. He says, "Dad, look at this one I got." I mean, he was bragging. He said, "Look at this one I got. I bet you cannot get one this long. The roots were this."
I never thought about that. He never did yard work.
Never ever.
And
It
he
was
never did dishes either.
never.
I that was one of my pet peeves growing up. Well,
Yeah.
not growing old. Like I remember he would like eat his cereal, corned beef and cabbage, whatever he eat, throw the dishes in the sink.
He did.
Not even rinse them.
No, no, he never did ever.
Hey, at least I rinse the dishes.
That was below him. Really, that was
Not
that was
the same
below
as
him.
much.
He would not do that. But once we moved here, this is a total transformation. He would be washing dishes at the other home that we were renting for about 8 months or so.
Well, he's the more am, that's why.
Yeah. Yeah.
My wife and my brother,
Oh my gosh.
I feel like
They conspire,
yeah, like, I feel like my brother never had a sister. We never had a
So
sister.
he would talk to Em like as if he knew her all her life.
So my brother and I never really talked like how this. It was really weird. We grew up in the 80s where you got to be tough and macho, and Karate Kid and
Mm.
Rambo and Commando, all those tough movies. And plus living in the mainland, being in a different place. Oh, that's my phone. Heard it vibrating. And just living in a different place, and so we never had that camaraderie. But my wife and my brother, they could talk for hours
For real, yeah.
about nothing. I felt like I just felt like, what the heck? They're talking for hours. But my brother had I guess for him it's like, oh well, I have a sister. Yeah. And is it okay to shift gears on Bryce?
Mm.
Okay. Always. So The reason why we're here is because, and I've mentioned it many times, is that my brother got sick. And so the whole context of my whole family being here and not being in Hawaii is because my brother, uh, I say sick, but we get a phone call, and then my dad and my brother had COVID for I don't know how long it was,
Only 4 days.
4 days. But Bryson was already 2 weeks out,
Yeah.
and so my dad somehow Alicia, then you or me, I forget.
Alicia, me, then
So my dad was already at a weakened state, and so when he found my brother on the floor, un, unconscious, it was traumatizing. Obviously, I'm in Hawaii driving downtown Honolulu somewhere, and I get a phone call. I'll skip out of the details. I'll just go to where we call 911, and thank God that the hospital is literally right behind us. It was just a no-brainer. And had it not been for that, I truly believe my brother would not be here today. Just the sheer closeness and the fact that my dad was home, because my dad was actually supposed to have been in a pickleball tournament. I think, yeah.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
And so when my dad would travel, he'd be gone for like weeks on end, yeah.
Yeah.
So my brother would always tell me, "Hey, Greg, do me a favor. When Dad leaves on his trip, just let me know where he's at, or check on him." So my brother was always concerned about my dad, and it's so ironic that my brother just so happens to be the one that needed my dad. So had my dad not been home, it would be a different story. And so that's why we're here in Oregon, to help with my brother's affair and just to be with him. So my dad goes to Portland. Our schedule's been kind of fluctuating recently, but for the most part, he goes, spends a week with my brother. He comes home, and I go out for a week or so, maybe 4 days, 4 or 5 days, sometimes longer, but I try not to stay out too long. It's just the constant traveling, not being home it's always hard, no matter what. But I'm very grateful for my wife and my kids that understand that why we're here. You guys can turn the intensity down with the remote if you want. 'Cause I feel like we're in heaven now. I'm angelic on camera. So that's why, so my dad does a lot of traveling as well. And so he's going to Hilo, what we shared in the very beginning, for the first time in 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Three. So he hasn't been home that long.
Something like that, yeah.
So his story, guys, I know this is about my dad, not so much my brother, but just it's if I was to encourage anybody, the whole what the heck is going on? They made it nice and warm in here. But the context of us being here in Oregon is for family at the end of the day. And to go back to my dad on the whole, I know we start with Tsunami Survivor, but I wanted to highlight my dad, and there's so much more layers to my dad and the stories. But I want to highlight the fact that with the adversity that he experienced, I know we started with the tsunami and all that. That was just the cover story. But it started at birth, and it started with a whole lot of things. I think even in high school, even in I take for granted something because, like I said, I never experienced or I felt my dad having a disability. But there's some things that you cannot do, yeah, or not that you cannot. You just choose because it's just too much work, or like opening certain things.
Yeah. Well, you know, being the way I am, you just gotta figure out how to do things.
And it's not a strength thing; it's just a grip.
Yeah, just I can't grip a glass of water, you know. So I have to use, like, for instance, my left hand, my two best digits, my go-to digits are my thumb and my pinky together. It's like, those things that you pick up things with. picker upper and all that. That's what my pinky and my thumb are very very essential. This other hand, well, I'll use it for certain things, but yeah, there are limitations, but like anything else, you learn how to adjust to whatever you need to do it with. So yeah,
You gonna play one song?
yeah. Zoe, do me a favor. There's a sheet of paper up there on the piano. Can you
My
get
dad gonna play a song that we can land the plane.
that?
Thank you for being patient, guys. This is our first time doing this with actual equipment. So
Oh, thank you. Um,
Zoe, you grab the ukulele from my room. My daughter is she's our director. My son Cole is a producer. He's not in the room. I don't know where he went, so we may have to dock his pay. Take out the turtles. I cannot hear you. My wife is trying to communicate with us. Oh, the dogs. Okay. Make sure I tune. I didn't realize how big my stomach is until I look at it on camera. I'm like, what the heck?
An empty land.
What song is this?
I don't even know. I hear it in the intro of a lot of Instagram, TikTok and all that kind of stuff. Sad stories
Did
and
you give
all
me that
that.
first string?
It's actually played in B flat.
Or give me I'm gonna tune up with you this way.
Oh, sorry. That.
Okay, good.
And the song I'm playing is actually in B flat, and it goes to D minor after that. Let me try this. I just started this one here. I play some other stuff, but yeah, this one is just a new one. I just caught my ear. I walk along an empty land. I know the pathway like the back of my hand. I felt the earth beneath my feet. Sat by the river and it made me complete. Oh, simple thing, where have you gone? I'm getting old and I need something to rely on. So tell me when you let me in. I'm getting tired and I need something to begin.
Who wrote that song?
I don't know. Did I say Rihanna? Or something like that. So that's not my usual type of songs that I sing though. So play something. You want to play something?
I'll follow you.
Oh. What was the song? I used to sing that all the time. I used to play the guitar. Every time I want to think I want to play something, I can't remember. The senior moments keep creeping in, so.
Come on, church song?
Church song. And Eagle's Wings. How's Eagle's Wings go?
What key you playing? You like B flat?
I don't know.
C is easy.
Here I am.
It can start in C. What's D minor?
We all sound confused there right now.
That's kind of high. F to D minor. Oh, no.
Let me. I cannot think right now. It's amazing.
You know the lava song?
No, but usually I follow along.
Long time ago, there, G. He said, watching love come away. He is someone to. 7. To F. I have a dream. I will come true. I'm here with you. Would you let me F. F. Just F. One more time. I have a dream. I know it will come true. And you're here with me. I'm here with you. Would you let me see the sky of love? Will send me someone to love. And the lava erupts and everything happens. Well, you know the other one everybody wants you to sing.
Oh no.
Then we'll do that one.
Yeah. Oh, hey. Oh, what was that one she was saying? Every na little pili mehala. I forgot.
She Flies with Angels.
No, it was like every time I hear a country tune, every time I watch
The country song with the swing beat.
oh yeah, here. Every time I stop to watch the moon dance across the early evening sky, every time I hear a country tune, I can see the shores of Mariah. Every time I hit into my heart, telling me it longs to go back home, and it makes me want to, 'cause I miss you, my love. My love. My love. Oh my goodness. Oh, I know the first part of that song now. I hear the wind blowing down the cold line. It touches my skin. It makes me think of how much I miss you, my Hawaii. I breathe the fragrance of the fallen ginger lane. I look inside myself, find the words to say how much I miss you, my Hawaii. Every time I stop to watch the moon dance across the early evening sky, every time I hear a country tune, I can see the shores of Waianae. Every time I listen to my heart telling me it longs to go back home, and it makes me want to, 'cause I miss you, My love. My love. My love. Yeah, I'm throwing some falsetto in that one there. Oh my goodness. I never thought you could do it, Rudy.
I think that's a good place to land.
Yeah.
We'll do more chapters later. Once again, thank you to Archon Mounts. They are this episode is brought to you courtesy of Archon Mounts. Go to archon.com if you need a tripod or mounting solutions for your cell phone, tablets. You have an action camera. Maybe you like to post some videos on social media. Maybe you are a gig driver. You drive for Uber or Lyft. You need some good in-car solutions to mount your devices. Well, go to archon.com. At checkout, take a breath. At checkout, put in Hawaii at the promo code section and you get 20% off your entire order. Also, thanks to NCCST. Okay, that's not in the website. But anyways, thank you to the National Center of Counseling Services and Training. That's actually my cousin, Dr. Terry Lynn Kim. So if anybody's in a dark place, maybe you're going through something and you need just counseling or you just need someone to talk to, go to nationalcentercst.com. It's actually it'll be in the bottom of your screen. But that's Dr. Terry Lynn Kim. She's a clinical psychologist. She practices in the state of Nevada, also in Hawaii. But they do have a website where you can connect with them. And do me a favor, if you do desire to have a conversation, you need some kind of mental health services, let them know that you heard about them through this podcast. That's nationalcentercst.com. And also buy my dad's book. It's called Funny Little Fingers. It's on Amazon. It's just look for Funny Little Fingers on Amazon. It's like $5, $6. And thank you for your support, guys. All that goes to help my dad travel and put food on his table, his tiny little table. He has a small little table in his RV, but we're grateful for you guys spending time with us. Our merch is also out. It's on our website, therealgilo.com. Link is in my bio on all socials. But we just, guys, we thank you for being here. There are many chapters to be talked about. And I just wanted to highlight, obviously, starting with the tsunami, just because that's a good way to start off the conversation. So if I was to encourage anybody, if you feel that you cannot do something or maybe you're in a tough spot, just remember my dad did it. So I'll leave it at that. Guys, we love you. Honey, you can play the fancy Lanikai video that we started with on the way out. So guys, thank you for your time. Thank you for your hearts. For those of you that actually tapped the screen on the Twitter X platform, thank you. Twitch people, thank you. YouTube, thank you for those who subscribe on my YouTube channel, and also to my Facebook family, for those of you that are mostly family on Facebook. So we thank you for sitting through and listening and just hanging out. Until next time, you can say bye now. I'll do my fancy
Aloha.
aloha. Love you guys. God bless you guys. Ahui ho. Aloha and what else? Aloha and mahalo. Shoo. Thanks, guys. Aloha.